What's going on, guys? Nick from Subimods here today, and obviously behind me we have our 22 BRZ, but right there we have a new product from COBB. You may have already heard about their collaboration with Ecutech, releasing the flashing tool for this platform. Made a lot of news originally because people were looking at the gains and they're like, well, this just isn't what we've come to know from previous tools like the access ports on the turbocharged models. But today what we want to do is go over some common misconceptions about the platform, go over some features that COBB baked into their Ecutech tool to really provide some value around what this car is designed to do, right? This car is a driver's car. You can have this on the track, you can have it on your local drift event. If you want to do quarter miles and, you know, be there for a little bit, you can definitely take this to a drag strip as well. But we really wanted to take the time, answer some questions that we've gotten from customers, and then, as I said, go over some features. So let's dive in. COBB sells this kit in two different capacities, right? So you can either get their Stage 1 kit, which will include their panel filter. A lot of times panel filters are looked at as like, well, they're not the best, right? Well, actually with this car, a panel filter does make a noticeable improvement, right? It's not going to reinvent your power, you know, but it is going to provide a little bit more efficiency with the intake system. And this car is really already good from the factory. That's what we want to kind of spend a quick moment talking about. Like, compared to the Gen 1 platform, the Gen 2 provides a noticeable upgrade in torque. Obviously, if you've seen our previous Lock City drift videos, this car is extremely easy to drive, right, from a power perspective. So this car doesn't need a lot. So combining that filter with the tuning tool itself, which you can also buy single on its own, you don't have to buy the kit if you don't want. When you open that up, kind of let you scope in quick here, you will get that nice Ecutech container. You'll get a couple other things. This also is COBB approved. This is a very cool piece about COBB's initiatives, is every piece that they are putting out right now from a tuning perspective comes with COBB approval, right? So that is a massive win for our California customers, because unfortunately with some other solutions, you're limited, you know, and you have to kind of choose between compliance and performance. With COBB, you're getting both compliance and performance. It's a little bit different. If you've owned a Subaru previously and you've come to understand how tuning these cars works, you're probably familiar with the access port. This is a bit different. There actually is no specific tuning device, right? That's all going to be done through the dongle, which is OBD2 connected, and your mobile device, Android, iOS. The beautiful part, you get your dongle cable, you get all of your licenses are pre-baked in here, so there's nothing else you have to buy. It's ready to go out of the box into the car. So we'll close this up. We have one in the vehicle already. We'll move over, we'll show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll talk about some features. All right, so like we talked about initially, we're not going to do a full installation here because COBB does such a very good job of making it clean and clear in their initial instructions on how to deal with this. And this product is very easy to get in, right? You're going to connect that dongle to the OBD2 port on the vehicle, and then the app is pretty much loaded up. You'll be able to install, and then you'll be able to swipe through and kind of see these features, right? So you have, you know, obviously your ECU programmer, you have your map switching, right? So this is cool for customers who don't have, you know, 93 present. You can install the 91 maps. It also adds flat foot shifting, right? So you get a little bit of launch control as well. And then you get some of their custom inputs. These probably oil temp or oil and water temp safety cuts and traction mode select are two of the most notable features on these on this platform. The traction mode select is actually very cool. It requires you to disable the factory traction control system, but then you do get the ability to have a couple different options from COBB's side here that expand upon what comes from the factory. Where your normal traction control system is a safety measure, COBB designs this for the track to be able to be a performance measure, right? And that's a very important thing when you look at what you're doing with this car. As we said, out of the box, this car is perfect, right? I mean, we had this car out doing a drift event, like we said in our previous video, and the balance, the power, the stability, just everything about it is so good that even though this product doesn't give you that massive turbocharged access port gains, the value adds from this tool from a foundational aspect, make this car even better. So let's talk about the power gains. That's arguably the most contentious point of this product, and COBB was nice enough to shoot us some data to explain what's going on under the hood when they were testing these cars. And it's important to note cars, right? They didn't just do this on one, they quantified these results across multiple vehicles on different days under similar conditions, right? Or as close to the same conditions as they could produce. So when a car goes onto a dyno, it's natural to assume that obviously fluids are less viscous, operating temperatures haven't been met, you know, the car is essentially still warming up, right? And that's one of the reasons that, you know, you don't want to obviously turn the car on and go out and, you know, do, you know, track driving on a bone cold car. As COBB put these cars through the paces on stock configuration and on, well, also in 3 capacities, the stock configuration, a separate other tuning solution, and theirs, they noticed that every pull as the car got warmer, the car made more power. So if you were to take a, you know, this car bone stock cold and then compare it to this car warm, right, you're gonna see a gain naturally regardless. And what they found was that a lot of the other solutions are utilizing the number cold versus the number hot and accounting for that in their performance gains, right? What COBB chose to do was they chose to compare their results to a warm stock vehicle versus a warm COBB tuned with the EcuTech software. That provided a more one-to-one resolution on how much the car was actually gaining in terms of performance. Now, when you couple that with the other protections they put in place from the oil temp and the coolant temp, you get a very safe solution, right? Obviously, we know that these cars inherently are prone to knock as things heat up, right? As you start pushing the car, as you know, it starts getting into these different operating environments, knock exists. COBB was very conscious of making a solution, or making their solution, something that didn't produce knock, right? That's the last thing that we want with this car, and that's the last thing that you want in your performance application, is to have the car knocking. So protections in place for that are extremely important and are prevalent in this. Now, they can be turned off. You know, I personally wouldn't, because there are some safety measures in here for, you know, extremely hot temperatures as well. If you're hot lapping this car, COBB did notice, and we also have noticed, that as it gets hot, there is a threshold of, you know, like any turbocharged or any true, you know, combustion engine, that when something gets extremely hot, performance tends to decrease. COBB does give you the ability to view that and kind of be conscious of like, okay, hey, the car's extremely hot, I'm really putting it through its paces, let's give it a cool down lap. So that's really important with this, and it highlights the fact that COBB wants to put out a product that not only performs well, but performs safely, right? It doesn't benefit anyone in the environment to put something out that's gonna damage the vehicle. That just creates a massive, massive pain point for everyone. So again, credit to COBB for taking that extra step, giving us that information, and we want to pass that on to you guys just simply because it is a little bit different than what's previously been put out for this car. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions about this solution or other modifications to the BRZ, please feel free to comment below. We're willing to answer any questions. You know, at the end of the day, we are doing more with this platform, so stay tuned, right? We have our collaboration with Lock City Drift, where we're gonna be putting this car through its paces a little bit more from the drift side. We intend to do a lot more with the platform just because we've fallen in love with it. It's a great car. It has an appeal for every type of motorsport, and it's just like so fun to drive. I really can't. It's probably I guess the way I would explain it is everything I've driven from Subaru in my career, I've never had as much fun in a Subaru as in this one. So anything that we can do to it to make it that more fun and share it with you guys, we're gonna do. So again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep driving.